What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Pure Evil MMA, part 2 of episode number 153. For those of you guys that have been tuning in live for today's show, thank you so much. But for the new listeners out there, and we've gotten a lot of new listeners this month, make sure you guys subscribe down below here on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Podomatic, wherever you're tuning in for this. I really appreciate every single subscription helps. We're doing giveaways. We have a lot going on, especially for the month of October. But let's jump into part 2 right now of episode 153. And on the line, we got Charles Mantis joining us. What's going on, Charles? That's a pretty crazy name, bro.
Yeah, what's going on?
Not much, man. I mean, obviously, I was going through your Instagram over there, and the one thing that really pops about you, like the one thing I can definitely tell that you get about the mixed martial arts culture outside of the actual fighting is how to really promote yourself. So, you got the haircut, you got the style and all that. Where did this come from? Like, were you always a very creative kid?
Yeah, I used to draw back in the days, but like as far as like my name is concerned, Mantis. In the Thai culture, praying mantises, they pretty much hold their hands like a Thai fighter. If you think about it, so it's kind of like my name when I go out to fight. This is Charles Mantis Williams. You know what I mean? And as far as like the bang pow on my head, I have a bang and a pow on my. Bang on my right hand and a pound on my left hand, so it's kind of like, it goes hand in hand with fighting.
So this is something that you've literally created just for, the culture, just for, training and stuff like that. Like it's literally molded your life to the point where you've actually changed your name to Mantis, or is that not, like,
no,
it's just your nickname, right?
Legally changed it. I haven't legally changed it, no, but that's pretty much.
That's how you promote it, though. Like I was looking up Charles Mantis. That's your Instagram name. What's your full name all the way through? Or do they just introduce you for fights as Charles Mantis?
Yeah, they introduced me as fights as Charles Mantis, but my legal name is Charles Williams.
Okay. Charles Mantis just sounds like a badass name, man. So obviously, part of the culture is being on social media and stuff like that. Have you been like a big fan of, like back in the day, let's say like Mayhem Miller was kind of that style before social media was out, or it was just like, he was just entertaining to watch,
Oh yeah, for sure. Mayhem was real animated, just as outside the ring as he was inside the ring,
Do you remember that show Bully Beatdown that he was on? Do you ever watch like MTV?
I used to watch that show all the time.
Man, like they had Luke Rockhold was on the show, Karate Hottie was on the show, like some throwbacks, man. Throwbacks.
Yeah, man.
And we've actually...
I used to watch the fights in Japan a lot, too.
Like what, the Pride days or...
Yeah, the Pride days, yeah.
Speaking of Pride, man, I mean, we just saw Rampage versus Vanderlei this weekend. Did you get a chance to watch that?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you think about that? It held up. Like, I felt like a lot of people were like, it's another Bellator fight with two older legends. But, man, they looked like they were 32 again.
Yeah, they went at it. You know what I mean? So that's always good for the sport. I mean, 30 now is not really that old anymore, really, if you think about it, for fighting. I mean, as far as, like, the preparation now, the science behind the preparation, a lot different than it was back then.
A lot of people...
So I think a lot of older athletes are able to compete with these younger ones now. I mean, not too old, and I'm not saying 50, you know what I'm saying, but,
I can see what you're saying, because back in the day, people used to go really hard with sparring and up until, like, the end of their fight camp, and you're seeing now, like, Cowboy Cerrone, Robbie Lawler, a whole bunch of guys out there being like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Like, we've learned so much throughout the years from, what mistakes people have made in the past, so, yeah, I can see where you're coming from there.
Yeah, for sure.
But, like, if anything, if the whole Rampage versus Silva thing proved anything, it's that Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz might not be half bad.
No, it might not. That'd be interesting. I mean, Tito's proven himself his last couple of fights. I mean, we haven't seen Chuck in a while, but, I'm pretty sure he's the same old Chuck. I'm pretty sure he's been keeping busy.
Man, like it's crazy when you see Chuck ringside. There's so many GIFs and stuff like that, highlights of him after he stepped away from the UFC. Him just like watching fights and like doing head movements and stuff, like wishing he was there, reliving those moments. And I can't wait. Like he's all about it now that they did like the stare offs. Like he's back in the mode. I feel like I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to that fight, and it's under a great promotion as well for like Golden Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting to see Golden Boy stepping into the MMA world now, you know?
You know what else I've been noticing too? Have you been realizing how big bare knuckle boxing has become in 2018?
Yes. A friend of mine, Christina Marks, is fighting coming up here in the next one.
For BKFC 3?
I think so. Is it like November?
There is one
Sometime
coming up.
November?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. There's a couple different promotions, like Johnny Hendricks went to one, Chris Lebens at one, Beck Rawlings in another one. You know what I mean? Like, but either way, I believe we're even getting Bobby Gunn on the show. Hopefully this week. I talked to him the other morning. He sent me a message, and it just seems like things are finally coming into play. And I really wish Kimbo Slice was still around, man, because that was his thing right there.
That would have been right up his alley.
Yeah,
that would have been right up his alley. That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
That
So
the backyard boxing is actually coming into fruition as a legal sanctioned sport now.
well, yeah, I was interviewing Bobby Gunn like 3 years ago, and he was trying to get bare knuckle boxing sanctioned. And a lot of people out there are like, that's never going to happen, or at least it's not going to happen anytime soon. And it's just really cool to see the culture pick it up. I mean, this sport's been around for forever now. You know what I mean? Like bare knuckle boxing goes back, like even big part with like the gypsy culture and you know the whole backstory with what's that big boxer with the gypsy boxer? I forgot his freaking name. He beat Klitschko. He beat Klitschko. Yeah. He beat Klitschko. I can't fucking remember his name. But yeah, man, it's just cool to see. Like, this has been a really interesting year. And then we got Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov coming up. What are your thoughts on that? Who are you siding with there?
Of course, I'm thinking. So this is how I'm breaking it down, because Khabib, we don't really know how good his chin is, because he did get dropped.
By Michael Johnson.
I think it was like a left. With I think it was like a left hook. But him getting hit like that by Conor might change things dramatically, you know.
And by Daryl Horcher. I think Daryl Horcher dropped him too. It was like a debut on his debut.
Yeah, and you know, so he was able to come back and implement his wrestling and stuff, and he's super heavy on top. Once he gets a hold.
Like, the thing I keep bringing up mostly for this is, like, does it feel like a Conor McGregor fight to you? Like, does it feel like it's fight week for a McGregor pay-per-view, or are you on the same boat as me where it's just like, it hasn't hit me yet?
Nah, it hasn't. You know what? I seen the press conference, and I watched the whole thing, and it seemed like Conor wasn't like himself to me. I mean, like, he wasn't as sharp with his wordplay, and I mean, he was still talking, the way he does, but it seemed like he was off to me a little bit. But it seemed like it didn't bother Khabib at all. He was just calm and just was whatever. He's like, I'm waiting for the fight.
Like, to us, it's like, if you have a favorite band and you're waiting for their next album because the last one was just such a banger, and then the next one comes out and you're like, so. It's because you've already seen it before. Like, you've already lived through that. So when it comes back, it's not going to be anything that different because you're already used to the sound. You already like the sound, but you're still wanting more. And I feel like, this fight, this fight should have been a different fight, like maybe against GSP or Silva or something. But I think that has a little bit to do with it there. Yeah, that would have been huge. That would have been huge.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot better. But, man, you got to remember, he also has a child that's in his life now, and you also have a child. So what do you think that changed for Conor here, if anything?
Might have calmed him down a little bit. I mean, even though that bus situation was kind of crazy. But, who knows? I mean, kids will change you for sure. But I just don't know. We'll see come Saturday when he fights. But I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to come to be. I mean, it's weird.
And you also got them talking about the 165-pound division. Well, what do you feel about that opening a new division?
I think they should have a new division because, I mean, if you really break it down, like, featherweight isn't 145, not a true featherweight. I'm a true featherweight. I fight at 125. That's what a featherweight really is. But the UFC and the overall MMA, weight classes are so different. You know what I mean? So they do need to get more weight classes so people cannot. I think what this is. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that they're trying to get people to fight at their natural weight, so people aren't cutting as much.
Yeah. Which something needs to be figured out because someone's going to get hurt really soon. We've seen a lot of close calls. People think they're having heart attacks and all sorts of stuff, man. It's getting really scary. I mean, luckily we haven't lost anyone in the UFC yet.
Yeah, weight cutting is no joke. I mean, I got even one of Connor's friends that passed from weight cutting.
That's right, man.
You know, it's like, yeah.
Oh man, during this fight.
Yeah, this is crazy. I cut way too much one time, and I was weak the next day. Still, I didn't recover, and you know, I felt it in the fight. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I was hydrating like a motherfucker, eating, hydrating, and I was just so weak from the original cut. You know,
that's another thing. This is another thing I keep bringing up about Conor fighting at 155 pounds. He's not depleting himself to make 145. He looked amazing at, you know, the fight against Eddie Alvarez. So, you know, this could be perfect Conor McGregor. We might see the best Conor McGregor we've ever seen.
Yeah, he's super accurate when he throws, too.
So,
so we'll see.
What's your prediction?
I think, just from what I've been seeing, I think if Khabib gets a hold of him and just mauls him like he's been doing, it's going to be a rough day for Conor. But if Conor can keep it on the feet and just pinpoint him, I take Conor. But I think it's going to go Khabib's way tomorrow for some odd reason. I don't know.
Wasn't this the same?
I kind of want Conor to win still, but we don't know.
Well, wasn't this the same argument with, you know, Conor versus Eddie, though? Like, you know, Eddie's a wrestler. Look what he was able to do to Showtime. And, you know, and he was shook when he got in there.
And he got hit.
And he was even saying afterwards, he was like, he's just so accurate with his shots. He's so accurate.
Right, yeah. Pink. Like I said, Khabib's been dropped.
So listen.
Know, and
So listen, man, I really think a cool thing about you as well is like the tattoos that you got. But there's one on you that I was just like, what the hell? Like, what does that mean? You got ugly tattooed on you. What is that?
Fight Ugly.
Okay, Fight Ugly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Fight Ugly is a team that I used to fight for. I actually kind of like me and my longtime trainer came up with the name Fight Ugly. You know, because he wanted to like have the initials for the fight team called FU. You know what I mean? Kind of like double meaning. He's like, what does FU stand for? What do you want? I know it wanted to be Fight something. So he's coming up with all these names. Fight Universe? No, that's corny. Fight University? No, that's stupid. You know what I mean? And then it was just like Fight Ugly.
Fight Ugly. I like that too.
Fights aren't pretty. You know?
That's that punk rock name to it. Yeah. I like that, man. I like that a lot. And another thing, like, you got pit bulls at the gym and stuff like that. That's pretty badass.
Yeah. That's my boy's little dogs. Nicest dog ever.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hurt anybody.
That's the thing. Like, those dogs have such a bad reputation, and it's so sad. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, it really matters, like, you know, how much TLC you're giving the animal, you know?
Yeah.
It's really what it comes down to.
I mean, it's the owner, too. Who's the owner, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a crappy owner, you know, dog's going to be pretty crazy.
What is up with the tacos, man? Like, on your page, like, is that, like, all you eat? Like, are you just a taco fiend, or what's up with the tacos?
Oh, man, I love tacos. It's Taco Tuesday every day.
See?
No, but I love to cook, right?
Okay.
That just happens to be one of the things that, you know, when I'm, boom, that's a good picture. But, you know, I always wanted to do a thing, like I wanted to cook for fighters who were cutting, because I know what it takes to cut, and it freaking suck. You know what I mean? But if I can, like, give them the right nutrition and the right, you know, things to eat, it'll make their cut a lot easier. You know, my last fight, the cut was super easy. We had it down to a science, you know, and I made weight in my last fight, so, and, you know, I'm, you know, vegetarian, so I don't really eat meat. So I kind of like pick a meal that I want, and I'll just make it vegetarian, you know. Like Philly cheesesteaks. Easy, all day.
And it's hard to make a living in the fight scene. I mean, a lot of fighters out there, or even in the UFC, and still working a part-time job or what have you. So, like, you got to also think of, like, a plan B to do just in case, and if you want to stay in the fight scene, I mean, nutritionists are huge. Look at Mike Dolce right now. I mean, and what he's been able to do with what he's implemented with, you know, weight cutting and dieting and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's important. Super important. You know, you don't want to eat like crap and then try to make weight. And now you're like trying to drop the day of you know, weigh-ins and killing yourself. So you know.
Before we end our interview, man, I gotta give a huge shout out whoever your barber is that's doing your hair. I think that's a huge game. Like, not only do you have to win fights in 2018, but you also have to have something that stands out about you, and you definitely have that factor to you. And the barber definitely deserves a freaking shout out with the art that he does on your hair, man. It's absolutely amazing what he's able to do. Who does that, and how long does that take to do that?
Yeah, it's my boy Nick down in San Diego, Rock Next Barbershop. If you are ever in the area, definitely go check him out. Amazing barbers all around in that shop. It takes them, like, to do something intricate like that, I would, like, say at least a good, maybe hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe do it longer, you know, because he really hooks it up. You know, even when you went to my fight, he had cut it the day before, and then the day of the fight, he came into the hotel and hooked it up even more right before I went out to make it look extra crisp, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, Rock Next, man, they kill it. They kill it down there.
And that, like, plays into the whole mental game. Like, if you feel good, you look good, and, like, you feel nice and fresh, like, that's only going to help you stay a little more confident in my eyes, right?
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely.
So, what is the future looking like for you? What are we going to see from you by the end of 2018 here?
I'm looking to fight for Lions Fight Promotions under Iron Shin. So, I'm looking to do that. I'm probably gonna maybe have one or two more fights, and I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna retire and just be coach.
Ooh, wow! What goes into that decision there? That's a big thing to drop on us right now.
It is a big thing. I've been fighting for a long time, man. I'm 44, but I feel like I'm 20. You know what I mean?
You look like you're 20 too. You literally look like you're 20.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I've been training for a long time. It's not like I don't have the hunger to punch somebody in the face.
Yeah.
I always have the hunger to, you know, to go out there and get the glory. But sometimes, you know, you got to pull back and let the youth, you know, take over and, you know, guide them in the right way, you know, because you can't fight forever. And I don't want to be those fighters like, just one more. And then just all of a sudden you're just getting beat up at that point.
Look at Bob Sapp, man. Bob Sapp was on that road and just got his first win, like a 14-fight lose streak.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just that.
Man.
How long have you been thinking about this? How long has this been, you know, brewing in the back of your mind?
A couple years. I've just been thinking about it, you know, but, you know, people were like, oh, man, you should, you know, just go for it. You know, I'm either thinking of making one more run at it as far as, like, get like a contract, maybe a fight contract, and just play it out and see how it goes, or, you know, just play it fight by fight and see how I feel after the fight, you know, and then assess for my team, my coaches, and see how they feel, and make a real conscious decision on what I really want to do. But I love coaching, you know what I mean? That's a passion of mine as well.
And I feel like a lot of fighters afterwards, they open up their own gyms and take that road. And you also have like the food thing going for you, which is obviously huge. Like you can, you know, be hired. Like every fighter needs a nutritionist, and this sport's it's only growing year after year after year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you actually interviewed my boy Atik a while back.
Atik, yeah, he got shot 12 times, man. No, absolute crazy.
Yeah, I know. He was supposed to fight. He was fighting under me. I was his coach.
Oh, okay.
All right. Fight. Yeah, I'm his coach. Yeah, and he had to pull out of the fight because what happened to him did take a toll on his body. He just wasn't telling us. But you know, he's coaching. He's going to be coaching, and me and him are still going to keep in touch. You know what I mean? Because I've known that guy forever. So I wish him the best of luck in whatever he does next.
I mean, Atik, man, that is such an amazing story, being shot that many times, trying to come back. I was really looking forward to that. But were you able to tell, like, any signs? Like, he has spoken about it. Like, what you just said, he has spoken about it. I think you said, like, something to do with, like, his kidney or something like that. Were you seeing any signs? Because, obviously, when he was on my show, man, he sounded so motivated. Like, it didn't seem like much was going to pull him out.
Yeah, he is motivated, man. If he could have physically done it, he would have done it. But he had called me up, and he just had to tell me, he's like, look, I haven't been telling you guys that, you know, after the sessions, he was so dehydrated that you would literally have to go to the hospital and get an IV put in. You know, it was just taking a real hard toll on his body. I couldn't tell that was why. I just knew that. I'm like, hey, you been putting your road work in? Because cardio is kind of gassing. You know what I mean? Yeah, we have good days and bad days in training. I've had them, but he just kind of really told us, like, that's what it really was. It wasn't because the workouts were killing him, but since he didn't have that extra kidney to help him, you know, so he had to kind of, like, you know, come into, like, well, this is what the reality is. I can't really fight, you know.
So listen, I really want to leave off on a really good note here. You know, we're talking about retiring. We're talking about a teak, and it's a little upsetting. So I gotta definitely ask you this: for somebody that's tuning in right now, they have no idea, you know, of your career. What's the one moment that you'd want them to look back on to see you shine the most? Like, what's been your number one fight, your favorite moment so far in your career?
My favorite moment in my career, I guess there's a couple of them, but when I went to China and fought for the U.S. on the U.S. team, that was a highlight because they tried to bribe me to throw the fight, and I refused to throw the fight. Wow. I said I didn't fly to China to throw the fight, so I went.
How did that happen? Who approached you? Who approached you for something like that to throw it? If you don't mind me asking. The other team.
The Chinese government, you know, wanted to test out their fighters. And this is back in 2001. So they got a team of us together, and we all flew out there, and they kind of offered one of the other fighters first, and then he came to me and be like, yo, this is what they're doing. You wanna get in on it? And I'm like, nah, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about that. Yeah. You know?
Did you feel like you were like in danger if you did shut it down though? Like, did that come across your mind?
No, I didn't think I was in danger if I beat him. You know, I just, you know, I just wanted to do it the honorable way. But in hindsight, looking back at it, I should have fucking took it because I still lost, quote unquote, on points anyway. You know, even though I was fucking pressing him the whole time. You know, but I mean, it is what it is. You know.
It would have went against your morals and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I'm sure you're really happy you didn't take it. But I see what you're saying there. It's like, I could have got the money anyway. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, you could have got it. You know? I mean, you know, another highlight is when I, you know, took my titles. But I think the one that really stuck out was my K1 fight when I fought in Denver. That was pretty awesome.
What was so awesome about it? What was special about it?
Well, I was supposed to lose. I was supposed to just get my ass beat all up and down the ring, and I was fighting their, like, kind of like their golden boy, you know, and he was just, like, up and coming, and I'm like, but I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I'm up and coming, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not no stepping stone for no one, so I went up there with the mindset that I'm just going to go fucking smash this kid, and, you know, make everybody just eat their words, you know? So we drove up to Denver. Car got struck by lightning as we're driving up to Denver. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean?
How does that happen? Like I was always taught, like, as long as there's rubber to the road, you should be straight. How the hell does that happen?
Yeah. We got struck, and all the electronics started flickering, and we was like, oh, shit, we just got struck real quick, and we was like, oh, shit, hands to your sides. You know what I mean? Don't touch anything. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. People who was driving alongside us was like, "Are you okay?" Like, well, yeah,
they saw it happen.
Yeah. Still driving. Oh man, it's crazy.
What would you do if you saw that shit happen? Were you guys freaked out or what? Like, did the car light up? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, the shit was flickering, and like all the lights flickered for a little bit, and then it just kind of stopped, and then we just kept kept driving, you know.
We got to get there.
Huh?
You guys didn't even pull over. You just kept going.
You just kept driving.
That's great.
That's pretty crazy.
That is definitely a highlight right there. That is a highlight. You know what? What year was that? Because I really wish there was like vlogs and iPhones around at that time, so that could have been documented. Like that. I wish that was caught on camera. 07?
07.
Woo.
Yeah.
That's when the iPod just came out.
Phones were.
Yeah.
Oh, is that when the iPhone came out?
No, iPod.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah.
The OG.
I think people still have flip phones at that point, huh?
The Razor Motorola flip phone, yeah.
Yeah, that was the shit back in the day.
Good times right there. But yeah, man, those are some amazing stories. Really interesting about the Chinese government thing. Do you think that happens a lot over there? That's what people say.
I think it. I've talked to a couple friends who fought over there, and they said if you don't, you know, it's like any other country. If you don't go and you knock them out, and it goes to the decision, then you're pretty much losing, you know. You know, I mean, you really got to, like, unless you're just really just whooping him up. But I really think if you're like Mexico, same thing. If it goes to decision, unless you're really killing them, then chances are you're going to lose that one, you know.
So listen, man, Lion Fight coming up for you. One of the best promotions in Muay Thai on the planet right there. They travel between the West Coast, the East Coast. Now they're starting to go overseas more. They're on Flow Combat. I think they're making like a new contract deal pretty soon with like CBS or something like that, I heard, I think. Don't quote me on that, but, right? Did I hear that?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
It's going to be on CBS.
Yep.
Wow.
I've seen the flyer for Lion Fight 50. It's going to be on CBS.
That's huge. Crazy. Huge.
That is huge.
Huge news.
I know they show it on Access every Friday. They would show fights, and a lot of times fights would be Lions fights on Access Television. But I guess now they're switching it to CBS, which is, I think that's a bigger station. Well,
Access is big for, like, you know, fight fans and stuff like that. They shoot on Access TV, which I was a little upset when, you know, they broke away. Flow Combat, one of the best, you know, broadcasting teams out there for, you know, some of these other cards. Even if they got on like UFC Fight Pass, that would have been awesome. But CBS, man, my mom knows CBS. Like, if the more you put it out there for people who may never have seen a fight before, is, you know, better chance of our sport growing. You know. Yeah,
for sure.
So looking forward to that. What day's your fight? Just to throw it out there and put the plug in.
Right now we're trying to set it up, trying to get an opponent, and just trying to set it up that way. I told him I'm wanting an 8-week camp. My last couple camps have been like, you got 15, 20 days, get ready. You know what I mean? While the other guys have a full camp, and I'm like rushing to get in shape and trying to. I told him, like, if this is going to be like one of my last fights, I want to make sure I perform at the best of my ability and showcase all my skill sets. So we're looking maybe end or the first of the year. So man, I got time to really hone in on it.
I'm really excited right now for you. I'm excited to tune in and watch it. I mean, maybe I'll be there if you're fighting on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, I will not see you. But, man, it just really seems like it's all or nothing with you right now, which is so intense, so exciting. These are the stories that people love to see. What's a fighter going to do in the last stretch? Like, this is very exciting stuff. So I really want to thank you for sharing this story. This is a great interview that we just did, the first time that you've came on my show. So we got to get you back on sometime soon. Everybody, Charles Mantis. What we usually do at the end of the show, I hand the imaginary microphone over to you. If you have a sponsor, shout-outs, anything at all, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, for sure. Any future sponsors want to sponsor me, Charles Mantis Williams. It's on my Instagram, same as my Facebook. I want to give a big shout-out to my man Kyle Surge from Riverside, Icon MMA. I'm helping him get ready for one of his fights, and he's helping me get ready as well. Brainstorm Fitness down in San Diego, one of the best strength and conditioning coaches out there. Awesome gym. So if you're ever in the area of San Diego, please visit my man's gym. It's awesome. Just everybody who's promoted me, supported me, and everybody who's definitely just waiting on my downfall. Thank you, because it only motivates me more to get ready and, you know, tell everybody to keep their mouth closed.
Get the broom, kick rocks. Big shout out to Iron Shin Muay Thai as well for connecting us for this interview too. Big shout out.
Definitely, he's been a blessing. He's been on top of it since I've gotten in contact with him, and he only wants the best for the fighters, and that's what's good. That's rare in a promoter or manager to see. You know, there's a lot of them. I've been through some crazy situations, but only as a fighter. You know what I mean? You're offered this, and you know, all of a sudden it's not after you fight. And, you know, sometimes you don't. I fought for this one organization. I'm not going to say, but I was the main event, and if it wasn't for me being the main event, there wouldn't have been a event, and I didn't get paid.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I didn't get paid.
I feel like that happens a lot. Like, we don't really hear about it a lot because people are afraid to report on it. But it's just a real shame. It really is. That's so effed up. It really is. All the money that you guys spend on, you know, getting ready for these fights, your nutrition, the weight cut that you have to go through, being away from your family, and just not to get paid. Excuse me? What?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oof.
So.
Yeah, I'm sure there are things in this game that, you know, you probably look back on and just like, damn, that was just dirty. That was just, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you see it all when you're a fighter.
Interesting.
You know, the good and the bad. You know, the good and the bad.
Yeah, maybe you'll write a book one day. I'm looking forward to our next interview, man, because it sounds like you got a lot of stories. Yeah, this was an interesting interview, man. I want to wish you best of skill training, getting ready for this fight. Tell us, Atika said what up next time you see him. And last but not least, thank you so much for joining us on today's podcast.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, God bless, man. Enjoy your day.
All right, brother, you too.
Here we go, guys. Charles Mantis. What a good show we had today. Episode number 153. This is actually part 2 of the podcast. We went live this afternoon, and we had 3 interviews lined up, but there was an hour between each one. I need to take a little break in between there. And then we had Charles Mantis call in. We've had a lot of great discussions today with all of our fighters. We had Jonas Flock, Joe Nasty. We had Charlie Hollywood Brown, which I really wish they would just call him Charlie Brown, because that just, everyone wants to see a Charlie Brown fight, clearly. But other than that, guys, UFC 229 coming. I promise I will do a special preview show of all of my predictions. I kind of brushed through it today, just a little bit to get a taste. But now that we're getting a little closer, and I am talking about it, maybe if I rewatch the press, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like Conor McGregor fight week for some reason. Even he was just saying it. He was just like, you know, it just felt like Conor was off or not as sharp as he was. Or I don't know. And this has nothing to do with this fight. This is just all speculation. You know what I mean? So who knows what's going to happen. I can't wait to figure out the outcome on Saturday night. Also, Saturday night, you also have a Lion fight. And I didn't apply for my credentials because I knew that October 6th is UFC 229, but the following weekend I will be at Bellator. I just got granted my credentials for not this weekend, next weekend at Mohegan Sun. A lot of great fights. Matt Mitrione versus Ryan Bader. I will be backstage doing interviews with everybody. Looking forward to it. Tomorrow we got Diego Lima, whose brother just beat Andrei Korshkov. He's going to be joining me tomorrow at, I believe, here, he's been messaging me. I actually talked to him when he was backstage getting ready for the fight with his brother. Wish him luck. And then his brother won, so it was just like, we got it. We got to do it. So Diego says tomorrow can work after 1 p.m. Eastern time. So sometime around tomorrow afternoon, guys, we're going to be speaking with Diego Lima, Ultimate Fighter vet. Never lost an Ultimate Fighter, only the finales against Eddie Chuck Gordon, then recently with Jesse. But guys, he also has an upcoming fight in the UFC. His brother just lost the title and was on the way back to get it from Rory McDonald, who just lost this weekend. I want to know what is going on in the Diego household, in the Lima household. I mean, 2 fighters, 2 big organizations, a big staple in their community for sure, a big staple in their gyms. They're icons. They really are 2 icons. They are, they pretty much are like the Pettis brothers, but they're the Lima brothers. We have not had Douglas on yet. We've had Diego on multiple times, like 4 times now. Who else I want to get back on the show? Hader Hassan. I wonder what he's been up to. I think he's been fighting for a different organization. But man, the run that he had on the first time that he was on Ultimate Fighter for, what was it, ATT versus the Black Zillions. Do you guys remember that season of Ultimate Fighter? And just what he was able to do, what he was able to accomplish. Heitor Hassan, I thought was going to be one of the biggest things in the UFC, and I really wish he would just come back. Like, sometimes you see that happen where it's just like, you get to the big show, and then it just doesn't work out for some odd reason. Which I kind of brought up in today's episode when we were talking about, you got all these fighters that are so hungry to get into the UFC. You got a fighter fall off, and you get the phone call to film short notice, and that's your moment. And if you blow it in that moment, you can blow your entire career, everything that you worked for. So it's a scary game. It really is. It's a game of chess. And not only do you have to be an amazing fighter, but you also have to be good on your social media. You have to be good, like all these different areas nowadays. The times are changing. Ooh, the times are changing. They really are, man. They really are. And are we going to see a new era come this weekend? With Conor McGregor doing it again, bringing the UFC even higher. After that, you got to have him fight GSP. You got to have him fight Anderson Silva. Or, obviously, the Nate Diaz. Listen, I said on the last podcast, I am literally keeping myself alive just to see the Diaz-McGregor trilogy. That's right, the Diaz-McGregor trilogy. I'm going for Nate Diaz to win in the third fight. Got it. But, guys, I just can't wait to see what Conor McGregor looks at 155 this weekend. We keep forgetting how amazing he looked against Eddie Alvarez at 155 pounds. He's not depleting himself anymore. He looked so good. I'm getting ready for it, man. I'm getting ready for it. The energy is filling me now. The energy is coming in slowly but surely. A little late for a McGregor fight, but it's coming. And I'm sure when I wake up that morning, it's going to feel like Christmas. I know it. I know it. Guys, that does it for me here at Pure Evil MMA. I do promise I'm going to be doing a preview show for UFC 229. I will be talking with Diego Lima about it tomorrow, so do not miss that to see his predictions on Khabib versus Conor. Guys, subscribe down below here on Pure Evil MMA on YouTube, youtube.com/Pure Evil MMA. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you can hop on the live stream in the live chat room. I don't have the live chat room open right now in front of me, unfortunately, so hope I'm not missing a lot of comments in there. But honestly, guys, it's a lot of fun. We had a great community here built over the past couple of years. We got all new subscribers here on the YouTube channel, so I want to thank you guys so much. Every time you give us a thumbs up, it helps generate more views, gives people the recommendation if they're watching other shows that you guys are watching. Be like, hey, you might like this guy. And send them right over here where they fucking belong. And I need you guys. I need your help. Going out there and telling people, if you enjoyed the show, if you are a supporter of Pure Evil MMA, we have a lot of exciting things coming up for the month of October. We got ghost stories inside the MMA scene where we're going to have MMA fighters share some of the creepy things that have happened to them in their life, some things that they just cannot explain. I'm working very hard on that. I got my own personal story with demons and pictures and evidence and all this stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also working on some new merch with a local artist. That's right. We're having an artist do our merch for Gloves Off with me and James McSweeney. If you guys are new to this podcast, you may not know that I do a show with Ultimate Fighter Season 10's #1 pick for Team Rashad Evans, James McSweeney, who went into that season Ultimate Fighter alongside Brandon Schaub and Rashad Evans. They were all coming out of the same gym. They were all coming out of Colorado together. He was on that. Kimball Slace was on that season. Roy Nelson, Matt Mitrione. And we're doing a show every 2 weeks. He has that upcoming fight this weekend for KSW. I'm going to be doing live commentary with SMS Production. And you guys can watch the KSW fights live. I'll share the link for you. James McSweeney going to be fighting another UFC vet, Diego Santos. And I can't fucking wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Or Silva. I cannot fucking wait. Big things for the month of October. Big things going on in my life right now. Big changes are working their way through. So I'm happy I was able to catch up. Also, guys, like I was saying before, we got the vlogs here set up. I did vlog for Bellator 206 this weekend where, I showed you like the little party that I had, some behind the scenes footage. Then I did a quick recap at the end, followed by a surprise party out in Long Island, New York, where I bring you guys on the ferry, on the trip up to Long Island, and a surprise. And it was pretty cool. And I want to do more vlogs like that, but more focused on mixed martial arts. Guys, that does it for me here at Pure Evil MMA. We got a new subscriber. Charles Williams has subscribed to your channel. Thank you, Charles Williams. I appreciate it. We got a couple new subscribers today, so make sure you guys give us a thumbs up. Make sure you also get us on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Podomatic, or wherever the hell you're listening to this. Player FM. I mean, we're all over the place. We're on like every podcast platform that's out there. But I know a lot of people don't like going out, and if they don't have an iPhone, they don't want to download Podbean or whatever. I understand that. That's why we're on Spotify now. All you got to do, if you want to listen to your favorite bands, you can listen to full CDs, and you can now also listen to Pure Evil MMA on Spotify. Guys, Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA, my MMAnews.com. White Knuckles till the end. Behave yourselves.